Okay, so I'm gonna oh shoot. I'm gonna recreate a voice message about why I date interracially, but I'm gonna explain it better because I've thought about it since then and I want to reword several things that I said. So let's get into it. Growing up, I grew up in the black family with the black culture, but at school, I was in a very diverse atmosphere. I didn't go to a predominantly black school. I went to a predominantly white school with a mix of Latinos, with a mix of black people, with a mix of other races. So over time, I adapted the culture of that. And from that alone, it made me set apart from other people in my culture. Obviously, not to say that stereotypes are real, but they have their gravity when you yourself aren't like every other black person. I'm not as loud as the next black person. I'm not as abrasive. I'm not as out there. I make my presence known, but in a subtle way. And there's black people that make their presence known and they start, like, getting down as soon as they walk into the room. And that's totally fine. But I don't get down like that. And so that's fine. That's totally fine. However, that translates into how I date people. And I notice that whenever I am interested in someone black, like, we have that shared experience, but somehow in this weird inverted way, I feel like I'm comparing my culture to theirs, even though it's the exact same thing. We have a different experience of how it was taught to us. And I almost feel like an imposter syndrome. Like, oh, they're blacker than me. Almost. It sounds weird, but you just have to be open. It almost feels like I'm comparing how black I am to them. And I don't enjoy that. I could totally set that aside and just enjoy black love. I have nothing against black love. And I'm waiting for the day that I get to experience that type of pure, unaltered, shared experience. And I'm really excited for that day to come. But until then, I don't feel like I have to compare myself to my culture when I'm dating other races. If anything, I'm just admiring and they are admiring me. I love to admire, I love to learn. And so when I date other races, I feel like that's an opportunity not only for me to learn, but to also be comfortable and embrace my identity as well, because I love being black. I'm not saying I date interracially because I hate black people. I'm saying I date interracially because I just feel like I'm still insecure about who I am when it comes to other black people. I don't feel secure in my community, period. I mean, it's just a lot of personality differences. And even when I was in middle school, people would always be like, you're such an Oreo, like you're black on the outside but white on the inside. Or you're so quiet, or I wish you did X, Y, and Z, or oh, how come you don't know about this stuff? Why don't you listen to this music? Like, why don't you dress like this? Why do you dress like that? It's just very judgmental, and there's so many stereotypes in the community that I just don't align with. And I hate stereotypes, but it's also something about group psychology, and when you don't fit in and you obviously stand out, it's something so different and niche about that. Even around black people that I have similar interests with, it's like we're all competing with each other in this weird way. And that's just how it is in school. Like, I just growing up, that's just how I've always felt. I'm sure it's probably going to be so much different as an adult because people are just mushed. And I feel like at that point, I would appreciate black spaces more because the world is so big and black people are a minority in America. And so when you can find those black spaces, those are really important. But growing up black, I just felt super alienated. I felt like I wasn't like every other black person that I saw on TV. I wasn't like Flo Milli and Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I'm not like that. And I feel like that's what people want me to be, but I'm just not that. And that's totally okay. Yeah. So that's exactly how it translates into how I date people. I wish I could have explained it like this when I first recorded it, but I had to let it linger, the cranberries. But yeah, whoever's listening to this now, I hope this makes so much sense, and thank you for listening. Or if it's just Zen listening, hello, you narc, you like to hear your own voice. Okay, bye.